commemorating the 10th anniversary of the Italian Historical Society in South Australia. My name is Rocco Carpentieri, and it gives me great pride to be here tonight as your host for this milestone occasion. And as a son of Italian migrants to this country, I'm honoured to stand here among so many friends, familiar faces and supporters of our vibrant Italian community, including several distinguished guests who will be acknowledged later in the evening. Tonight's not only a celebration of 10 years of the Society's achievements, but it's a tribute to the countless stories and sacrifices and successes that form from the rich tapestry of Italian migration in South Australia. Over the past decade, this society, led by its visionary president, Joe Giorgitano, has worked tirelessly to preserve and share the history of our parents, grandparents and pioneers, the men and women whose courage and determination laid the foundations of the life we enjoy today. And tonight, surrounded by that spirit of pride, gratitude and belonging, we come together to celebrate their legacy and to honour the people who continue to keep those stories alive. As part of this celebration, and as part of this special celebration, Society's prepared a commemorative book, a wonderful keepsake that captures the past decade, a copy of which you'll find on your tables. So take a moment to browse through it and appreciate the incredible work the organisation has accomplished in just 10 short years. Now, before we get into formalities of the evening, just a few quick housekeeping notes. Bathrooms are located in the foyer to your right as you exit the main room. And in the unlikely event of an emergency, please follow the directions from the Carrington Function Centre staff, who will guide you. And as a gentle reminder, this is a non-smoking venue. If you haven't already had the opportunity to take a professional photo in front of the backdrop, the photographer is set up just to my left, your right. Please make sure you stop by during the night, and all photos taken will be made available and shared on the Society's Facebook page in the coming days for you to view. During the speeches and presentations later in the evening, I kindly ask that mobile phones are turned to silent so that we can give our full attention to those being recognised. I hope you're enjoying your antipasto, and I've been told that the next course will be served shortly, followed by main course and dessert a little later on. Between courses, we'll enjoy some wonderful moments, a few speeches, presentations, and the introduction of tonight's honorees and storytellers, as well as recognition of the Society's leadership, sponsors, and supporters. Now, you've already had a taste of tonight's entertainment with the talented Rose Sensi in No Two Ways, and later in the evening we'll enjoy more music, dancing, and of course cutting of the anniversary cake, as well as a raffle and a short auction. Cashless payments are available, so please be generous and dig deep tonight to support the important work of the Italian Historical Society. For the moment, just sit back, relax, and enjoy the evening as we celebrate 10 years of passion, dedication, and community spirit, the foundation of everything this society stands for. And we'll be back with you shortly with some guest speakers and presentations. Thank you. Your pasta, we're about to enjoy your pasta and feeling relaxed and comfortable because the night is only just beginning and we've got a lot more to look forward to. Some wonderful stories and of course some more fantastic entertainment still to come later this evening. But before we move on, it is my pleasure to officially begin the formal part of tonight's program by inviting to the stage the man our community stories, but has also ensured that they continue to inspire future generations. So, if you'd all please join me in welcoming the President of the Italian Historical Society of South Australia, Mr. Joe Giorgitano, to deliver his welcoming address.
Good evening. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to welcome you to the 10th Anniversary Gala Evening of the Italian Historical Society. Thank you for your support in us and for sharing our dream, the dream of recording the history of our journey from the land we all love and will always hold in our heart to this adopted land which we have embraced and made our home. Throughout the evening, we'll share more about our mission and how we are achieving it. But for now, I'd like to begin by welcoming our special guests who have honoured us with their presence tonight. We do have several apologies due to prior engagement, interstate commitments or illness. Some of the main ones are the Honourable Peter Malinauskas MP, Premier of South Australia, the Honourable Vincent Darja, Leader of the Opposition in South Australia, Ernesto Pianelli, Consul of Italy and co-patron of the Italian Historical Society, Guida Bianca Palumbo, Ambassador of the Italian Historical Society, Tony Vergara, Managing Director of Vergara Family Estate, Joseph Morelli, Black Funeral Painter, Ilario Nesci, Buonasera Restaurant. We sincerely thank them for their ongoing support and interest in our work. I would like to warmly welcome our distinguished guests, the Honourable Dana Wortley MP, Member for Torrance, representing the Premier, the Honourable John Gardner MP, Member for Morialta, representing the Leader of the Opposition, the Honourable Jean Lee, MLC, who will join us later due to other commitments, the Honourable Russell Berkeley, MLC, Mayor Angela Evans, Mayor of the City of Charles III, Councillor Dr. Rachel Tullio, Councillor for the Grange Ward, City of Charles III, and Vice President of the Italian Historical Society, Ms. Louisa Greco, Chair, South Australian Multicultural Commission, Cavalieri Ufficiali Dr. Carmen Di Pasquale AM, co-patron of the Italian Historical Society, Cavaliere Sebastiano Gallipo, Ambassador of the Italian Historical Society and Managing Director of Gallipo Food Company, Professor Marinella Marno, President of Commonwealth South Australia, Ms. Emma Laxardo, representing Global, our special guests, Enzo Clappis, Andy Clappis, and Giuseppe Nesci, who is representing Ilario Nesci. I also wish to welcome representatives from our Italian community organisation and supporting companies that honour us tonight. Mr. Robert Ciuffolo, President of the Market Club, Mr. Rocco Capatieri, President Festa San Giuseppe, Salisbury, Ms. Angela Coutry, President Associazione Cinepolisi del Sud Australia, Maria Santissima di tutte le grazie, Cavalieri Dr. Philip Donato OAM, President of Italian South Australian Italian Association, Mr. Silvio Iaradola, President of the Coordinating Italian Committee, Mr. Vince Greco, Chair, Society of Sant'Ilarione, Religious and Cultural Committee, Ms. Lucy Di Santi, President, Casa d'Abruzzo and Militia Club, Mr. Lorenzo Costa, President, Madonna di Croci, Ms. Anna Farrugia, President of St. Clair Community Events, Ms. Lina Scalpino, President of Kawasi, South Australia, Cavaliere Kathy Propandea, Manager Market Club, Associate Professor Angelo Carino, Ms. Laura Di Martino, author of Ramona House, and Mr. Mario Rusto, author of Sand and Blood. It is you, the people, who make tonight successful. The committee may plan, but it is our community, the thousands who donate and participate that makes our dreams a reality. The focus tonight is to celebrate the remarkable achievements over the last decade, but at the same time, we must be conscious that only through raising funds we are able to continue with our valuable work to benefit not only us, but the future generations. All funds raised tonight will go towards our publication fund, which will be unveiled later on this evening. Now I'd like to express our gratitude to those who made tonight's evening possible. First, Vespa Catering for hosting and supporting tonight's event. Second, to our generous donors and sponsors. Without your generosity, this celebration simply would not have been possible. Blackrock Funerals, Regatta Family Estate, Zarella Wines, High Tech Fred, Buonasera Restaurant, Our Place, Malunga Hill, Stephen Cavallo, Galipo Food Company, CFC Australia, Aldi Stepney, Vespa Catering, Mara 10 Vita Harbour, Lorenzo and Franco Costa, Tina Tiquera, John and Shona Francomelli, John and Rosina Furyk, Nella Santo, Miss Laura Di Martino Kemp, and Silvana Zarella. To each of you, thank you sincerely. I also want to thank our talented entertainers, Rosa Nesci and Nachi Weiss, and our MC, Rocco Carpentieri. A special thanks to Robert Ciuffolo for conducting the auction later on tonight. We extend our deepest gratitude to everyone who made this milestone possible. Special thanks to our photographer, Luigi Vella, whose talent and dedication will beautifully preserve the memories of this occasion, and our event videographer, Franco Costa. Following to our hard-working committee, members and editorial committee. You have been outstanding. Your dedication and teamwork have made this event possible. A strong, united committee can achieve anything, and I have been fortunate to lead one such team. As I call out your names, please come out to the front. Vice President, Councillor Dr. Raquel Tullio, Secretary Jenny Gerasitano, Treasurer Tina Tiquera, Assistant Secretary Rosina Perry, Social Media Director Rosemarie Gerasitano, and committee members Angela Coutry, Nella Santo, Anna Ferruccia, Teresa Dell'Acqua Leonardi, OAM, Franca Circosta, Lorenzo Circosta, and Silvana Zarella. And one that I forgot to mention, Joe Yenko, OAM. A special mention to Jenny Gerasitano and Rosa Perry for their work in ticketing and table allocations, and to Jenny and Rosemary Gerasitano for producing the video presented running tonight. Our editorial committee deserves recognition for producing the inaugural volume of our journal La Partenza, Voyage to a New Beginning. Cavalieri, Associate Professor Angela Scarino, Ms. Laura Di Martino and Mr. Mario Russo. Please all come up, don't be shy. Before our committee members resume their tables, I'd like to invite our co-patron, Randa Fujale, Dr. Carmen Di Pasquale IM, and Investor Cavalieri Sebastiano Filippo to join us for group final.
I'm still filming.
Excuse me, it might take a while to organise the group. Maybe our committee meetings are a lot quicker than organising them for a photo.
Children's children into the future. As we all know, the migrant stories of the Italian community are important chapters in South Australia's story and its post-war evolution as a multicultural state. From the earliest Italian migrants to more recent young arrivals, we will forever appreciate the legacy and influence of those who made the journey halfway across the world to start a life here in Australia. And yes, I know that, Joe, you said, I think, that they brought with them a trunk full of dreams. And my father's parents left Europe post the war, and they brought with them, we say, a suitcase full of dreams. So it's wonderful to be able to look back and think of what they wanted for the future, and to everyone to be here tonight. Now, the first Italian migrant, and I'm not telling you anything, to our state, Antonio Giannoli, lived in High Street in Kensington. It's not too far from here. And he arrived in 1839, just 3 years after South Australia's proclamation. And he set up a cabbie business before starting the first horse-drawn tram service in South Australia. Antonio's son, Peter, was the first Italian Australian to be elected mayor in South Australia, leading the then town of Kensington and Norwood a century ago, from 1920 to 1922. Now, I was speaking with Vinnie tonight, and Vinnie told me that in 1993, she worked to have erected on Osmond Terrace in Norwood a statue of Antonio. So if you go there today, in the medium strip on Osmond Terrace, you will see that statue. Thanks, Vinnie. Preserving these stories is not just about looking back. It's about educating future generations, fostering understanding, and strengthening our shared identity. And Antonio's story has helped shape the South Australian Italian story, and importantly, shape South Australia. Each and every story is just as important as Antonio's, because Italian South Australians have helped build our community. The contribution of the Italian community has been felt in every aspect of our society, particularly through the migration post-World War II. The work of your society, Joe, and all of the committee members here today, and everyone who has participated or contributed to that, to the experience of Italian Australians, will never be forgotten, and that is so important. Rest assured that our government remains committed to fostering a society where every culture is respected, valued, and given the opportunity to thrive. In closing tonight, I'd just like to thank Joe and his team, all the volunteers here, everyone who's come tonight to celebrate, preparing the 10th anniversary dinner. Congratulations to the Italian Historical Society of South Australia on this remarkable milestone. And we thank you for your dedication, your passion, and your contribution to our South Australian multicultural story.
And thank you, Dana, for your kind words and your unwavering support of the Italian community over so many years. And on behalf of everyone here, we wish you all the very best in your retirement from Parliament next year. And you will be greatly missed, but I'm sure we'll continue to see you and Russell at many Italian events moving into the future. So thank you. Our next speaker this evening is the Member for Morialta, the Honourable John Gardner. John was first elected to the South Australian Parliament in 2010, and for the majority of his 16 years in public life has served in the education portfolio, both in government and opposition. Like our previous speaker, John has been a long-standing friend of the Italian community, particularly in the eastern suburbs, and a familiar face at countless cultural and religious events. Late last year, John announced that he too will not be recontesting the state election next year, marking the end of an outstanding chapter of public service. So tonight, while representing the Leader of the Opposition, the Honourable Vincent Tarzia, please join me in welcoming, for what may be one of the last times he addresses the South Australian Italian community as sitting Member of Parliament, the Member for Morialta, the Honourable John Gardner to the podium.
Buonasera a tutti, mi chiamo John Gardner, sono il membro parlamentare per la zona di Morialta. Vorrei riconoscere tutti tutti ospiti illustri, Dana Wordley, the Honourable Russell Wordley, the Honourable Jing Lee will be with us very soon, to the Mayor, La Syndica, Angela Evans, and to all of the committee, the volunteers, and so many other distinguished guests in the room, Cavaliere. It wasn't always easy because the South Australia that you might have come to in the 1940s to the 1950s was a very different place to the one that we all enjoy now, where the inspiration and the contribution of the Italian community has become so ingrained in everything that we understand to be South Australia. And at the time, I know that many people were encouraged, or discouraged, I should say, from celebrating their heritage and their language. And so at an event celebrating the 10th anniversary of the Italian Historical Society, I'd like, as a non-Italian Member of Parliament, to pay tribute to your culture, your history, your stories, your heritage, and your language by making some attempts to make an offering in Italian myself. So, allora, questa sarà un'occasione importante. Vorrei iniziare riconoscendo l'incredibile lavoro di Giuseppe Giracitano e il Comitato. La vostra dedizione nel raccogliere, preservare e condividere le storie degli immigrati italiani è a dir poco ispirante. La migrazione è sempre stata fondamentale per la crescita del Sud Italia. Ma non si tratta solo di numeri su una pagina o di date in un registro. Sono le storie di persone che hanno lasciato le loro case, spesso con nient'altro che speranze e determinazione, e si sono costruite una vita in una nuova terra. Prendiamo, ad esempio, le famiglie italiane che aprirono i primi piccoli negozi alimentari ad Adelaide decenni fa. Non vendevano solo pasta o olive, introdussero i sudaustraliani a nuovi sapori, nuove tradizioni e, così facendo, contribuirono a costruire una cultura culinaria che tutti amiamo. To tell you how many times I had to practice contribuirono. We each of us try every day to get better in some little way, don't we? Oppure pensiamo ai viticoltori italiani della Barossa o della Marklandale che hanno applicato le conoscenze di generazioni per creare vini che oggi competono con i migliori al mondo. Queste sono eredità culturali che hanno plasmato il nostro Stato. E non si tratta solo di cibo o affari. Gli italo-australiani hanno lasciato il segno in moltissimi ambiti. La società garantisce che storie come queste non vadano perse nel tempo. Queste storie ci mostrano resilienza, determinazione e il valore duraturo della comunità, gli stessi valori che rafforzano la nostra società oggi. Ci ricordano che la migrazione arricchisce la società non solo economicamente, ma anche socialmente e culturalmente, condividendo tradizioni e valori che rendono le nostre comunità più forti. Vorrei anche ringraziare i ricercatori, i membri della comunità e i volontari, il cui duro lavoro rendono possibile questo evento. La storia non è preservata sola dalle istituzioni, ma da persone che hanno a cuore la storia, che registrano i racconti e che assicurano che le esperienze di coloro che ci hanno preceduto vengano ricordate. A nome del Partito Liberale mi congratulo con Giuseppe e Jenny e tutti i volontari e con tutti coloro che hanno contribuito a questo straordinario risultato. Il vostro instancabile impegno rappresenta un dono prezioso per il nostro Stato che custodisce un'eredità capace di ispirare orgoglio, comprensione e connessione tra le generazioni. Grazie mille.
Because you've got a room full of people who are almost guaranteed to vote for you after that. So thank you very, very much for your wonderful words. And we wish you also all very much success in the next chapter of your life, knowing for you, hopefully you know always that you always have a warm welcome at any Italian gathering in South Australia. So thank you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as we continue this wonderful celebration, your main course will be served in a short while, but in the meantime, you're invited to make your way to the dance floor and enjoy the fantastic entertainment by no two ways. Shortly, you'll have the opportunity to purchase lottery and raffle tickets for $5 per envelope, with all proceeds going directly towards supporting the Italian Historical Society's publication fund, which you have got information about on your tables. Cashless payments are available, so please be sure to purchase tickets from the committee members when they come around. Not only will you be helping a great cause, but you might also take home something special, as there are some wonderful prizes on offer here tonight. So for the moment, enjoy the music and the company, and we'll back with you after main course for the main presentations of the evening. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the wonderful introduction, Rocco. My apologies for being late. By the look of me, you probably realise what function I've been to. Yes, it was an Indian Diwali function, the Festival of Lights, so I come here with lights and colour. How auspicious it is also tonight, I didn't want to miss it, is the 10th anniversary of the Italian Historical Society of South Australia. And of course, like all of us in this room, can you ever say no to Joe or Jenny? Can you? No, you can't say no. And because of their hard work, passion, about celebrating everything so wonderful, so rich, and all the legacies of Italian community in South Australia, we have to honour them. And that's why I'm here, like you, to honour Joe and Jenny and the whole committee of the Italian Historical Society. I also acknowledge my parliamentary colleagues. We have John Garner here. I know Russell and Dana were here earlier. And I think it's really wonderful that we have such wonderful champions, business leaders, community leaders in this room. When I look at my journey myself, 15 years in Parliament, I have built my knowledge, my experience, because I have the guidance from so many of you. When I'm stuck with something, I need to discuss something, brainstorm, discuss something important. Joe and Jenny and everybody else in this room, so many of you have contributed to policy discussions as well as the speeches I deliver in Parliament. So on that note about speeches in Parliament, I will be moving a motion to acknowledge the Italian Historical Society of South Australia and all the heroes that built the society in Parliament as a motion. I'll be moving that motion in Parliament. So the legacy and the history, talk about history, I'll talk about that a little bit later. The history and legacy and all the contributions will be as a parliamentary record, imprinted on the public record for life. So not just for this generation, but many, many generations to come. And I also want to say, compliment Joel. I know how hard it is to be a historian. I don't know how many sleeps you get in a week and hours that you have to wake up and think, I've got a good idea, I want to put that in the book. There's another person I need to interview, I need to get to this person. It's enormous. So I want to channel the Senior Australian of the Year 2025. His name is Charles Jackson. When I met him recently, he gave me his card. The card said, knowledge holder. So to all the walking encyclopedia knowledge holder in this room, I salute you, I honour Joe and the Historical Society of South Australia. Happy anniversary, thank you.
And thank you, Jim, for your very, very kind words. And what you're going to do by acknowledging the Association of Society in Parliament, not too dissimilar to what the Association itself is doing by keeping special records like those that we're about to hear this evening in the State Library. So thank you. Well, as we move to our main part of the evening for tonight's celebration, it gives me great pleasure to once again invite to the stage a man who's been instrumental in bringing people together, capturing their stories and ensuring that the legacy of Italian migration continues to be honoured for generations to come. Please join me in welcoming the President of the Italian Historical Society again, Mr. Jojo Chitano, whose passion, vision and leadership have guided the Society over the past decade as he delivers his main address and to present tonight's very special honorees.
Ma che alò, e alò, non vedi che sono italiano come te? Parla pure la nostra lingua, così cara e tanto bella. Non avere nessuna vergogna di trovarti in questa terra. Sono anch'io un emigrante che lasciai la mia gente per venire a lavorare qui distante. Ma cosa vuoi? Siamo emigranti, ma il cuore d'un italiano, pur ramingo per il mondo, è sempre un grande galantuomo. Chiamami pure Francesco, piacere mio, caro Vincenzo. Vieni a casa mia se vuoi, ci sta pure per te un letto, puoi restare finché vuoi, come fosse casa tua, anche se in realtà neanche mia. Ma cosa vuoi? Siamo emigranti, e grazie all'Australia che ci ospita e grazie alla nostra Italia che ci vuole sempre bene.
Siamo emigranti. It is the one thread that unites us all. We are all immigrants and we all have stories to tell. And this is what we are celebrating tonight. That poem was written by Franco Pava. The translation of the poem you'll find in the commemorative book. It was written especially for tonight. Once again, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, friends, and members of our vibrant community. It is a privilege to stand before you tonight as we reflect on a remarkable journey, the journey of the Italian Historical Society. Tonight, we celebrate not just an organisation, but the stories, memories, and dreams and of thousands of Italian migrants whose courage and resilience helped shape this state. South Australian history has been enriched by many waves of migration, but few communities have left a more profound legacy than the Italians. From the rolling vineyards of McLaren Vale to the bustling kitchens of Adelaide, the imprint of Italian culture is everywhere. Today, nearly 104,000 South Australians, about 6.1% of our population, proudly claims Italian heritage. Yet, for decades, the stories of these migrants remain largely invisible. Their struggles, sacrifices, and triumphs risk being lost as the first generation ages. This silence inspired a group of passionate individuals to act, and thus the Italian Historical Society was born. The Society journey began in late 2014, with its official launch in 2015. Drawing on my own migration journey and academic research, I became aware that whilst the State Library of South Australia held many oral histories, very few came from Italian migrants. Without intervention, an entire library of lived experiences would disappear forever. From the beginning, the Society embraced oral history as its key methodology. Many Italian migrants arrived with little formal education, and written memoirs are rare. Oral histories captures their voices, their hopes, fears, and triumphs in their own words. Each interview follows a whole-of-life journey, from childhood in Italy to the voyage to South Australia, the challenges of resettlement, and their eventual contribution to South Australia. One of the Society's most ambitious and meaningful initiative is its flagship project, a trunk full of dreams, a suitcase full of memories. The title captures the essence of the migrant journey. People arriving with little more than hope, determination, and a few treasured possessions. Stories are grouped under themes such as a tavola, celebrating Italian influence on South Australian food culture. From the pioneering Buonasera restaurant, opened by the refugee Enzo Clappis, to icons like Sanremo Macaroni Company, Italian food culture has transformed the way we eat, the way we live. The Tavola project documents those culinary pioneers, ensuring their contributions are never forgotten. Among the earliest and most notable interviews was with Sebastian Gallipo, founder of the Gallipo Food Company. Arriving as a 4-year-old, Sebastian's story reflects both the hardships and opportunities of migration. His journey from growing up on a tobacco farm to building a multi-million-dollar business now forms a permanent record in the State Library of South Australia. Other celebrated interviews include Rita Bianca Palumbo, a trailblazer and interpreter for the Italian community, Enzo Clappis, who introduced Adelaide to authentic Italian dining, Ilario Nesci, who turned Buonasera into an enduring icon for 59 years, and he's still operating, that's why he's not here tonight. Andy Clappis, master bread maker, and carrying forward his father's legacy. Dominic Cocci, whose family helped transform Virginia into South Australian food pole. Alongside our whole of life stories, we launched La Portenza, Voyage to a New Beginning, an annual collection of short stories by Italian migrants. These are not just stories, they are living testaments to resilience, innovation, and cultural pride. None of this would be possible without the selfless dedication of our volunteers, the Italian Historical Society Committee and Editorial Committee. Give freely of their own time and skills, motivated not by financial reward, but by love of their heritage. Their work ensures that each story is handled with care, sensitivity, and integrity. To our committee members, past and present, your contribution are the heartbeat of this organisation. We also acknowledge our generous founding supporters, the City of Charles Sturt, businesses such as Gallipo Food Company, community groups like the Lions Club Adelaide Italian, the South Australian Association of Teachers of Italian, and Benny Aged Care. And individual supporters such as Cavaliere Nick Fazzolari, OAM, and John Fazzolari. Your belief in our mission sustains us. As we celebrate the 10th anniversary, we look forward to the next chapter. Our goal includes digitising our archives for worldwide access. And in saying that, tonight we launched our new website. So when you have a chance, please go have a look and see what we are presenting to the world. And expanding the captured stories from fashion, politics, and the arts. But above all, we remain guided by our founding vision to ensure that the voice of Italian migrants are never lost. As I often say, many of our interviewees are elderly, and unless their stories are recorded, an entire library of knowledge will be buried with them. To continue this work, we must secure the resources needed to expand. The Italian Historical Society is powered by volunteers, yet there are essential costs we cannot avoid. Transcribing, interviews, designing graphics, printing and distribution material. Much of this funding is raised through the tireless effort of our committee, and we thank them sincerely. However, we urge Multicultural SA to look beyond equipment and festival funding and consider establishing a dedicated heritage funding stream, one that empowers communities like ours to safeguard their histories. To assist us to conduct the project on which we embark, this evening we are proud to officially launch our 10th anniversary fundraising initiative, the Publication Fund. This dedicated fund will support the transcription, preparation and printing of our publications. Our goal is to raise $20,000 annually. Details of the fund are available on your tables. Every donation, no matter the size, is received with heartfelt gratitude. Each story we record is a trunk full of dreams and a suitcase full of memories, a gift to future generations. Together, we can honour the past, celebrate the present, and secure our shared future. As we continue with tonight's program, I thank you once again for your support and belief in our mission. With your help, the next 10 years will be even more extraordinary than the first. Now please join me in welcoming the MC as we move to the next part of this evening, honouring the individuals whose remarkable stories will live on for generations to come.
Thank you, Joe, for once again your inspiring words and for your ongoing commitment to preserving the proud history of the Italian community and migration here in South Australia. Now, as Joe mentioned, you do have on your tables all a leaflet which has all the information in there regarding the Society's publication fund, so please dig deep and support them. And one way you can do that this evening is by purchasing copies of La Partenza and other publications which have been arranged and published by the Society. They are available for purchase here this evening, so once we've concluded with the formalities, you're welcome to come up and have a look at all the life stories that have been done. They are here to my right, and you can speak to any committee members about purchasing copies of the publications. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we come to one of the most special moments of the evening, the presentation of tonight's honorees. And as Joe touched on, each of these individuals represents a living chapter in the story of Italian migration. Stories of resilience, innovation, family, and the unmistakable Italian spirit that continues to enrich this great state we all call home. Our first honoree this evening is a refugee turned culinary pioneer, a man whose bold spirit, heartfelt hospitality and devotion to Italian tradition helped shape South Australia's dining landscape. From his childhood in Pola, where he began his cooking apprenticeship at just 13 years old, to arriving in Australia in 1951 with his late wife as post-war refugees, his journey has been one of courage, determination and passion. After nearly 80 years in the kitchen, his influence is undeniable. And I'm sure most of us tonight have dined at one of his restaurants at one time, point or another. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in congratulating and welcoming our first honoree this evening, an architect of Italian cuisine in South Australia, Mr. Enzo Clappis. And we invite Enzo to come forward if he's able to receive his recognition this evening. While he's making his way up here, I learned a few things myself about Enzo while researching for this evening, and I think he's got a couple of stories to tell, which I'm sure feature in his publication, about an interesting meal he was asked to prepare for former Premier Don Dunstan. Now, some of you may know the story, but I'll leave it to him to tell you in his own individual special way. But please give him a big round of applause as he makes his way up. Please again, ladies and gentlemen, give Enzo a big round of applause. Our second honoree's story begins in Gaulonia, in Italy's southmost and arguably best region, Calabria. His journey from scissors to saucepans turns one of Adelaide's longest running Italian restaurants into a beloved institution. For almost 60 years, he has combined Calabrian warmth, authenticity and community spirit to create a dining experience where everyone who walks through those doors feels like family. His dedication to genuine Italian cuisine and his commitment to service have made his restaurant a true landmark in South Australia's culinary scene. Please join me in congratulating the co-owner of Buonasera Restaurant and our second honoree this evening, Mr. Ilario Nesci, who unfortunately could not be here because he's actually working at his restaurant, but is represented by his brother Giuseppe. Please give him a round of applause.
Ilario Nesci sent me a certificate to take Ilario couldn't be here tonight, but he recommended me to thank Mr. Enzo Clappis has been his wonderful mentor. And he remembers his family with a great respect. Thank you. And thank you for everybody here for attending tonight. I think this is a very noble night for the Italian community. Thank you. And also Australia.
Thank you, Giuseppe. Finally, to our final honoree this evening, a man who proudly continues his family's legacy, a master baker, restaurateur and storyteller. His passion for heritage and hospitality has shaped South Australia's food culture for decades. At just 7 years old, he cried because he wanted to go to work with his father. And from that moment, he has never really left the kitchen. In 1994, he and his father purchased 500 acres at Willunga Hill with a dream of retiring one day. But destiny, a single dinner invitation in 2003, changed everything. And today, that property has become a destination renowned for its warmth, generosity and breathtaking views of the Fleurieu Peninsula. Please join me in congratulating and welcoming our third and final honoree this evening, who's not only the son of our first honoree, but also the owner of our place at Willunga Hill. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Mr. Andy Clappis.
One more kiss. That's it.
Please, let's give all our honorees this evening another wonderful round of applause. Thank you. And as Joe mentioned earlier, their stories are now documented forever in the South Australian State Library. Their history and their personal view of what has happened to this state and how they view it is now permanently there. And that is the work that this society is doing. So please, as mentioned earlier, get behind them and support the work that they are doing. So thank you. Now, before we move into the final part of the night, including our auction, raffle, draw, and the cutting of the anniversary cake, it's time to just have a little bit more of a stretch of the legs, fill your glasses, and enjoy some more of the fantastic entertainment by Rose in No Two Ways, who'll be back on the stage very, very shortly. And as mentioned, we'll be back soon with the auction, raffle draw, and some final special presentations. So thank you. helping to bring the vision of the Italian Historical Society to life. These are people whose passion and commitment ensured that our history, stories and traditions would be preserved for generations to come. So please welcome back President Joe Giorgitano just to say a few brief words and present some certificates of appreciation.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, let us take a moment to honour the founding members of the Italian Historical Society. With vision, courage and an unwavering dedication, they laid the foundation for what has become a vibrant garden of our heritage. Their commitment to preserve the stories of migration, culture and community has given us a legacy that will echo for generations. We stand on their shoulders with gratitude and pride. Welcome back the MC who will be calling out the foundation members.
So it's my honour now to invite the following foundation members to come forward and receive certificates of appreciation from Joe. Angela and Cosimo Putrini. They come forward, please. Tina De Chiara, and it would be remiss of me not to acknowledge her late husband, Peter De Chiara, who was also a foundation member of the Society. Next we have the person who does, I think, almost as much work as Joe for the Society, his lovely wife, Jenny Giorgitano. And please welcome Joe and Zarika Ienko. Next we have John and Rosina Perrick. And finally, Vice President of the Association, Dr. Rachel Tullio. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me once again in congratulating with a round of applause these founding members of the Italian Historical Society. We now turn our attention to the Society's foundation sponsors, the organisations and individuals whose generosity and belief in the Society made its creation possible. Now, I overheard the conversation of Joe and one of these sponsors earlier this evening who said, "You supported us before you knew what we were even doing." Now, that's what foundation sponsors mean. Their support and their sponsorship of the Italian Historical Society meant that it was able to establish itself as being an organisation and their work being so important in preserving the Italian history in South Australia. So once again, please welcome back the President, Joe Giorgitano, just to say a few brief words before we call the names of the foundation sponsors.
He's taller than me, that's the problem. I've got to change the mic every time I get on. The founding sponsors, visionaries, whose generosity and belief in our mission gave life to the Italian Historical Society. The early support laid a foundation for everything we celebrate tonight. With heartfelt gratitude, we acknowledge their role in preserving our stories, uplifting our culture, and ensuring that the legacy of the Italian migration continues to inspire future generations. Please welcome the foundation sponsors.
I'll invite them to come forward as their names are read to receive their certificates. Representing the City of Charles Sturt, Councillor Rachel Tullio for the Grange Ward. Representing Arte Grafica, Ennio Cavaiolo. I know he's here somewhere. Comes. Representing the Gallipo Food Company, Sebastian Gallipo. Representing Bene Aged Care, the patron of the Italian Historical Society, Grande Ufficiale Dr. Carmine De Pasquale. He knows he can get them. And finally, representing the South Australian Association of Teachers of Italian, Antonella Macchia. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in showing our appreciation for these incredible foundation sponsors. Finally, we acknowledge tonight's major sponsors who have made this 10th Anniversary Gala possible through their generous support. I once again call Joe forward just for a few brief remarks before we present the certificates.
It is with sincere appreciation that we acknowledge our event sponsors this evening. Their generous support has helped bring this celebration to life, allowing us to honour heritage, share their stories and build community with warmth and elegance. We thank them not only for their contribution, but for sharing beside us in preserving the legacy of Italian migration in South Australia. Please welcome our event sponsors.
Once again, once we call your name, if you could please come forward to receive your certificate. Representing Blackwell Funerals, Ivana Beltrami. Representing Zarella Wines, Silvana Zarella. And finally, representing our place at Wollonga Hill, we welcome back Andy Clappis. Once again, thank you, and please, a round of applause for the generous sponsors who made tonight possible. Once we have concluded with the formalities, we kindly ask that all those who've received certificates just make their way over to the photo wall to have a group photo with the other recipients. Now, this milestone wouldn't be complete without a moment to celebrate, quite literally, with a cake. And so I invite forward the entire committee of the Italian Historical Society and join President Joe Giorgitano here at the front for the cutting of the cake. And we ask the catering staff to bring the cake forward for us, please. We also invite forward the editorial committee, the patrons, including Dr. Carmine De Pasquale, and the ambassadors, including obviously Sebastiano Filippo. Ladies and gentlemen, to 10 years of dedication, preservation and pride, and to the next chapter of history yet to be written, we acknowledge and applaud the Italian Historical Society on this wonderful milestone of 10 years. Salute, cheers. Thank you, please be seated. Once again, please give the entire committee together with their ambassadors, patrons and major sponsors a very big round of applause for all their support and for making this night possible. Now, before the dessert, we have a very quick few items for a fundraising auction to support the continued work of the Society.
Just stay here.
So it's my pleasure to introduce tonight's auctioneer, a familiar face to many, the President of the Monkey Club, Mr. Robert Chuffley, who will lead us through the proceedings of the auction.
It's alright, we're not leaving. That's it. Go.
You're doing very well.